to me. Whoever came up with this pathogen also came up with the anti-serum. The CDC is much more equipped than I am to find it. So figure it out, break it down, and get it back to me.
Patrick.
Sorry, the CDC's having a hard time finding the anti-serum.
Okay, well, I won't keep you. I just wanted to know, how's Ewan doing?
He didn't make it.
Oh. Okay. Such a waste, you know? I mean, he helped so many people, and yet he was working for Jerry the entire time.
Elizabeth, I'm sorry. This is probably not the best time. And I know it's a weird request, but did Ewan ever say anything about Robin?
Well, he talked about, obviously, how loved she was by everyone, but mainly he was focused on helping you with your grief. Why?
Because at his last breath, he said her name. He was dying. He could barely speak, and with his last breath, he said Robin's name.
And you have no idea what he was trying to tell you?
I don't. That's why I'm asking you if he ever said anything to you.
Well, like I said, whenever he mentioned her, it was always in the context of your grief. And I honestly think he wanted to help you. I don't know. I'm the wrong person to ask. I didn't even realize how many secrets he was keeping.
I know I shouldn't be dwelling on it, especially with the whole town sick from this pathogen.
The ORs are still full, so it's going to be a few hours before we can get that bullet out.
I can wait.
You want something for the pain?
Nah, no, I'm fine.
Patrick, can prescribe you something?
Look at me, son.
I want you to know Ewan died.
Well, at least you're safe.
I'm still trying to figure out how a person that I considered a friend worked with Jerry to poison the whole town.
He swears he didn't know what Jerry was planning.
It doesn't change the result. Jerry still got the pathogen in the water.
He said it's going to be 48 hours, which unfortunately I think is correct, which means the fever is progressing for everyone.
Is it possible to pull the medical records for Sam's baby?
Actually, they're in Sam's chart here.
Can you tell us why he died?
It says he died of respiratory failure. His lungs weren't developed.
So if Sam and the baby made it to the hospital, you could have put him on a ventilator and he'd still be alive, right?
Did nobody
I'm just trying to be clear, because he died, he wasn't in the hospital, he couldn't get proper care.
I doubt that the ventilator would have done any good.
Are you sure? Because I mean, when I asked Kelly, she said that that's what she would have done. She would have put him on a ventilator.
Yes, your baby would have been put on a ventilator, but the baby's lungs weren't developed. It wasn't breathing properly, so I'm sorry, but there was no way to save your baby.
So my son never had a chance to live?
There's a high probability that he would have died of respiratory failure no matter what.
Okay, but was it anything that I did while I was pregnant to affect the development
Sam,
of
there's
his lungs?
nothing that you could have done differently. In fact, it says here that you were very diligent. You told Kelly Lee to look into a genetical disorder with the Cassadine family beta thalassemia.
Yeah. Was that a factor?
No, not in the MA. It doesn't say that, but your son had a worse condition, hemophilia.
No, I do remember Kelly briefly mentioning that, but she thought it was weird because it didn't show up in any of my blood work while I was pregnant.
That's not why he died.
Your son died of respiratory failure, okay? His lungs weren't developed. Now, I'm sure if you would have got to the hospital sooner, we would have done anything we possibly could to keep him alive. But in my medical opinion, there's nothing that we could have done. Now, we need to get you to radiology.
Can I see the file?